Well, since this is an economic conclave, let me give you a business-like answer. The UN, in a way, is like an old company, not entirely keeping up with the market, but occupying the space. And when it's behind times, in this world you have startups and innovation, so different people start doing their own things. Now, they would like to mainstream that into the market and see that the, principal players are in tune with these trends. But when they are not, I think countries, as companies do, start doing their own thing. So what you have today is, yes, there is a UN. At the end of the day, however suboptimal it is in functioning, it's still the only multilateral game in town. But when it doesn't step up on key issues, countries figure out their own ways of doing it. So if you look, for example, let's take the last 5 or 10 years. Probably the biggest thing which happened in our lives was COVID. Now, think about what did the UN do on COVID, and I think the answer is not very much. Now, you have 2 conflicts going on in the world today, 2 very serious conflicts. Where is the UN on them? Essentially a bystander. So, what is happening is that, as you saw even during COVID, countries either did their own thing, or you had an initiative like COVAX, which was done by a group of countries. When it comes to the big issues of the day, I think increasingly you find combinations of countries who come together and say, let's agree on this and let's go and do it. So you have, let us say, connectivity, and you have something like IMEC. So you have India, Middle Eastern countries, European countries, US doing their thing. You have, say, in the Indo-Pacific, how do you, look after the global commons? So you have the Quad, which does its own thing. You had even in climate action, you had the International Solar Alliance. You have the Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure, all bodies which came from outside the UN framework. So I think today the UN will continue, but increasingly there's a non-UN space, which is the active space, and I think it's telling on the UN.
Well, I think that